So traders, the market is starting to roll over just like I thought it was going to. I'm going to share with you a bit of an update across the markets about what I'm seeing there. I also want to share with you today, in today's update, I want to share with you the one market that could be the next shoe to drop, but on the upside to having a really big move. And I want to share this with you because it's actually setting up very similar to like what gold did before gold had this big move up for a month and a half. This particular market is actually setting up the exact same way. So I want to give you guys a bit of an early warning because over the next few months, we could be getting a good setup here. So let's get straight into it. Don't place a trade based on what you're seeing in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty traders, so let's get straight into it. Traders, make sure you grab access to that free trading course on the screen. There's actually 4 phases in that course you get for free, guys. First phase is about the top 13 biggest mistakes you're making right now and how to overcome them. Phase number 2 is chart reading techniques. My number one chart reading technique that I've been using, that's been working since the 1950s. The phase number 3 is about advanced chart reading, and phase number 4 is all about bringing it all together for my trading system there. So if you're interested in that, guys, go get access to that. Also, you're going to get access to a webinar that I'm running as well too, where I'm going to walk you through all the details to my trading system. So traders, that first link in the description there, make sure you grab access to that. So let's actually grab, one thing I want to share with you here is let's go look at the actual market. So I did an update yesterday and I talked about how these markets are actually starting to potentially roll over, right? And I was talking about how we're probably getting towards, all right, cool. Let me bring this up here. So I said that we can see we actually came down through here and now we come up through. I said we're probably going to get a movement on the downside soon. And that's exactly what we've actually seen, right? We're seeing a very strong movement on the downside through here. This is the Dow Jones. And we're looking at the hourly chart here, right? So as you can see, we've actually come down the bottom here. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see a lot more follow through on the downside from here. And if you actually look at this here this is the Dow Jones. If you have a look at this, there's a few things that's happening through here when it comes to the Dow Jones, right? So the first thing here is that we're getting identification of, this is that long-term level of support through here. So around about that 36 to 37,000 level, I really do see that we may get something like this happening, right? Something like that, something like this. You know, possibly even something down to here somewhere. Like this whole area through here is a really strong level of support. Because on the short-term level, guys, I do see this thing coming down. But the really big thing that I'm noticing here is if we just look at the big trend is what? Up. And this is just an overall drop before we see up again, right? So this pullback, this drop we're seeing in the market is going to be very short-lived, but the short-lived is going to take a few months, I believe, to unfold, because I believe just by looking at this chart here, you can see my 2 boxes here, right? This box here, this box right here tells me this is roughly the amount of probably time that we're going to see a lot of volatility in the markets, right? So up and down, a lot of, meaning not really good, strong trending. We might get some more downside, a little bit of upside, downside, not really trending. So that's what I'm seeing from here. This is probably going to be, and because we did have such a very big, strong bull move through here, we're probably going to spend another couple of months being in a bit of volatile time. So if you are trading the indices, Dow Jones, S&P, stuff like that, just be very mindful that we're probably not going to be getting ready for another very big move up, not for the next few months anyway, by looking at that level through there. But if I go back to the hourly charts, then you can see here that this is the hourly lower high here, right? So that's that lower high there, and the level of, this is that level of support. So I do see this thing possibly even having like maybe something like this here. Right, maybe something like that, and then coming down towards this level through here. So that 36,000 level is indeed that level where I'm actually looking for from there, from that level through there to there. That's the Dow Jones. If we look at the Nasdaq, once again, the Nasdaq is also rolling over just slightly. We're starting to get possibly like, or we're getting this sort of up and then down and up. I do believe we're likely to get something like this coming through here. Again, the whole tune has shifted, right? And the trend is your friend until the end. We all know that. So let's just go with the trend, right? And when the market decides, right, when the market does decide it wants to start to change the trend from uptrend to downtrend, we want to go with that. And when it goes from downtrend to uptrend, we want to go with that. So if we have a look at what's happening here, we're getting what? Higher lows all the way up. Higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows all the way up. Now we're getting what? We're possibly likely to start to see now, instead of higher lows, which is an upward trend, we're now likely to be getting what? Down, up, lower highs, down, up, lower highs. And then eventually we're going to get to a point where we start to do something like that as well too. So, but again, I believe that whole section, what I just drew there, if I bring up the good old box again, I do believe, this is a false breakout here, I do believe that we're not going to get a big crash. Like, this is not going to be the start of something really massive. What we're seeing through here is just a normal, healthy correction. You can see what actually happened today. But this is just probably going to fill this in through here. But one thing I really want you to also understand as well too, and get ready for, is just like this time here, right? People that are patient and waiting for the next few months are probably going to get ready for something really big, right? As this starts to unfold through here, we're about to see a massive, massive, massive explosion. I really, truly believe that. But it's important to try to be patient and really look for those opportunities, right? Like for me personally, I'm really waiting for some good trading opportunities, like in the mining sector and some mining stocks and so on and so forth. So that's for trading opportunities, guys, not investments, okay? Investing, I believe long-term investing is going to be incredible in the mining sector and the metals. That's long-term. That's like over the next buying and holding for 5 years, not really trying to time the market. But as a timing tool, I do believe probably for the next few months, we're going to be building a base again. And as you can see here, right, whenever we have a big move up, we build this is like a bit of a reset before a big move up. And then we go through a bit of a reset here and then a big move up. Another big reset is actually coming in the markets here. And then, but guess what happened? Guess what comes after this? So this is where guys, like, if you're trying to trade every single day and you're trying to make a lot of money every single day, just try to step back a little bit, try to be a little bit more patient, and just like, then I know I want to make money now, but I want to be in a really good position at the end of this year. And what do I need to do here? Sometimes I need to not trade for a whole week. Sometimes I have to sit back for a whole month and not take a trade. Why? Because I'm just waiting for those really good opportunities. So I hope that makes sense from there. So that's what I wanted to share with you from the Nasdaq. That's the Dow Jones, and the same for the S&P 500. Okay, if we go back to the same situation here that I mentioned on the other indices as well. If I'm looking at the trend lines and all that sort of funky dunky goodness from there, that's that resistance through there. That's that level through there, which is 4,800. One thing I'm seeing through here, guys, is I'm definitely seeing this thing once again, probably start to see this thing being filled in all through here until probably later this year. But I do see some really big moves coming towards the end of this year around the election time. And then I do see I really do believe that this whole move here is a setup for a really big move to the upside. And if I bring up like the Dow Jones and we look at the weekly chart here on the Dow Jones, let's bring up this weekly chart here once again. Let's bring up here. One thing I do see, if we look at the really big picture here, right? The really, really, really big picture here. And by the way, guys, this is not the market that I see a really big potentially a really big move to the upside. But after we get this pullback through here, people that are really patient and not being freaked out by the media and really staying calm, not letting your emotions get involved, but saying, okay, we're probably likely to see this market drop down. Then I believe this is a very big move up. This whole thing is just one nice good pullback from here, which is just a nice healthy correction. A healthy correction in the markets. And then I do see this thing absolutely just having an incredible, I think 2025, guys, is going to be an incredible year from that. And then I believe maybe later next year, maybe 2026, we're probably likely to get the recession that we've all been thinking it's going to come. Which, by the way, guys, isn't it amazing that everyone was calling for a recession, but it didn't happen. Isn't it ironic there? It's always a big thing about investing, right? It's like if everyone is screaming something, man, everyone's saying this thing. Why is this? All right. So that's what I wanted to share with you. Now, let me actually talk about this market here, guys, that I do believe, and that's the energy sector here. Okay. So the energy sector, I've been doing some analysis, some research on the energy sector, and which is the XLE in particular. And check out this level here, right? I want to show you. Let me actually bring up the actual the GLD price, right? And I'm going to bring up the weekly chart here, and let me go back to before the breakout. Okay, before the breakout. Now, before the breakout, which was this one here, right? Before this breakout, what did we get? See that all that level of resistance and support, possibly all through there somewhere, right? So it's very, very, very similar to what is happening now, right? So we had all this resistance all through here. See how we resistance, and this is more like a bit of a channel as well too. So we had this like a bit of a channel here, possibly even squeezing up, bit of a triangle pattern. But the big thing is we had all this resistance through here. See that through there? So I had all that resistance through here, right? See, common setups make common patterns. And if we do start to get the trigger of the entry of this over the next, it's still this setup that I'm talking about here on the XLE, which is the energy sector, is probably going to take a good couple more, probably going to take another month or two for it to set up. But I'm trying to share with you what I'm waiting for to set up for my next possibly multiple 100% return trade. And again, I'll probably same for gold. It took me 2 months to wait for gold to trade, and then I made a really nice profit. So same for the energy sector as well too. I want you to focus on, because we broke out, and then look, see, we broke out, and then we just went sideways. This is a weekly chart here, right? And then look what happened to the 24. The 24 moving average started to come up. So we broke resistance, then broke up above this here, became support, and then we had the moving average coming strong. You get that there? So essentially what it means is that we had resistance 1, 2, 3, right? And then we broke up, come back down, found support, and then we made up, then we came through there, and then we actually also had the 24 moving average. This is a weekly chart, guys, using the 24 moving average, right? With me so far? And that was one of the tools I used to see this thing actually have a really big move. Now we're just going sideways through here. We're holding. I believe gold has a lot more upside to go after this correction, which may take another few more weeks to filter out through there. So the XLE, let's look at the XLE. So now look at this XLE. See how we're getting very similar setup here, right? What is that? We're getting what? We're getting this is a very, look at that clear resistance. This is a clear resistance level, right? This could be the next big bang opportunity. I really do believe this. And now look what's happening. And now we're getting what? Now we're getting a squeezing of this pattern through here. But look what happened. This resistance, remember I said before with gold. What happened with gold? I'm just going to draw it down here again for you. Resistance. That's pretty wobbly, isn't it? And it came back above, didn't it? Broke above, then it came down, went sideways for a bit, and then broke up, and then we started what? And then we started a big move from here. So what's energy sector doing right now? Now again, guys, notice there's nothing about, really there's no indicators here, right? This is a big thing. This is the reason why I'm saying you don't need indicators. You just need to understand the patterns and how to recognize this. And this is a bit of a gift for you guys to watch out for. Because just like gold, and now look at this here. So look, if we go to, let me bring up a green. Notice that this is the 24, right? So if the 24 moving average keeps going the way it's going to go, it's going to look something like that. Makes sense? So this is the 24 here. And if the 24 keeps going like that, see how that's going to look very, very similar. Remember what happened with gold through here, right? We started to do what? We started at the 24 coming up through there, didn't we? And then that's when it came down, bounced. So it was the channel. Then we had the breakout, higher high, resistance, all the resistance on gold, then became support. We had this nice sideways pullback with a strong 24. Then we had the breakup, right? And that's what alerted me to seeing this having a big opportunity. Now, again, we have just started this sideways movement from here. Just started. Remember, let's go back to the gold. Let's go back to gold price here. This is the actual gold chart, by the way. And look at this here, right? Before the breakout, look at this here. We actually had what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we actually had 12 weeks, which was actually 3 months. 3 months? Or 2 months, right? So it had 2 to 3 months worth of time. And then guess what? Then we had this resistance level here, as you can see. Look at this here. See, it's resistance here. Resistance came up, came down. 24 doing what? What's the 24 doing? Strung up through there. See that here? And then we had the breakup. What was the breakup? Then we got the breakup, and then we had the big move. Okay? Let's go back to the energy sector once again. Notice how we're getting the same sort of thing here, right? So the energy sector could be getting ready for something really big here, guys. So now we've just started, what, 1, 2, 3 weeks, haven't we? So we still could have another month or more of sideways as this 24 starts to catch up. And if indeed we start to continue getting something like this here, something like that, and then on the daily charts, we get this as in we get a nice little see, and then we get something like a big breakup like that. There's a real high probability, but we need a lot more time here. We need a lot, when I say time, we need a lot more time just going sideways. So if I'm going to look at an actual timing, if I remember these boxes here. So how I do this here is how much time I believe it needs going sideways, refueling before it starts to make a big move. And this is the reason why I do these boxes here, right? Because it gives me a rough gauge. It's not always an exact science, nothing is, but it gives me a rough gauge, guidance. Sometimes it can be shorter, sometimes it can be longer, but this is here what we need to then get ready for another big move. And so if I go to the energy sector and I do the exact same thing, I draw from the bottom of the move to the top of the move, right? Which is that there. Let's actually go back to, let's actually bring up the daily charts here. Yes, the bottom of the move to the top of the move, possibly through there. Yeah, possibly through there. So then if I'm looking at an actual timing thing from there to there, and then I duplicate that, and now I'm going to go sideways. You see what I did just there? So now I know roughly, and actually, let's actually do this on gold. All right, so let's actually do this actually on the gold move. So before the gold move had this big move up, let's do the same thing, right? So when did the move start? So we'll bring this up from here to here. So the move started what? Move started from there to there. And then that was the point from there to there. Make sense? So that was the move up. Then we needed what? Then we needed to have a timing tool, right? Look at this here. There we go. See that through there? So I knew that, so this is roughly, if we had this move up from here, I knew we needed roughly this time here. You can see it actually lasted an extra few weeks before we're getting ready to go again. Make sense? So this tells me here that we've had enough refueling, because when the market goes up, we're using energy. When we're going sideways, we're refueling. The big key for trading is, have we actually refueled enough to go for a big move? And you can see this actually had a little bit more this actually had a little bit more fuel. So I had an overbalance in fuel, and that's the reason why we had that sort of move from there to there. If we go back to now the energy sector here, guys, now we can see, let me bring on this thing through here to here. Right, let's actually squeeze this up, people. Now you can start to see what I'm looking at, that through there. So the big key for me would be just looking at this 24 starting to catch up. Now again, this may not happen, traders. I'm not saying this is definitely going to happen, right? This is why like I'm starting to see I have my setup, and then I have my entry candle. What I'm talking about through right now is the setup. This setup is possibly going to take another month or more to play out, the setup, before I get my entry trigger to trade this, okay? It may not even get that, because there is a possibility we get something like this and it just keeps going up, right? That's a possibility as well too. Or there's a possibility that it may just go straight down like this and start to go down like that. What I want to see though, for a really good opportunity to start to say that the energy sector is going to be that next big home run for me, right? Because I have other opportunities that I trade the markets right now. But when it comes to home run trades, just like gold, because gold was a home run trade for me, then you can see here we had this very big sort of nice sort of, if that's the angle of if this is where it is right now, we can see so we can see the angle of the 24, it's actually coming through there. So if we do get something like that, just say that's the 24 and it comes up through there somewhere. And then we started to get this sideways movement as this was happening. And then we got something like that, and then a nice good breakout like that. Traders, it's on like Donkey Kong. We're about to see an incredible move. And I believe, what's this here? 94 down to, that's 84.74. That's what, $20? It's a $20 move. Do I have that number right? Yeah, about, what's that? About $20 move to the upside. Then I do see, then we're probably likely to see maybe 104, possibly even 114 to see that move from there to there. Make sense? And that's just using that level from there to there. So this is roughly what I'm seeing here, guys. As I said, as I was saying before, traders, or as I said throughout my YouTube channel, that really big trades take time to set up, and it's about alert. It's about seeing it early. Keep an eye on it, because just like gold, right? A lot of people were. When did gold become a thing? Gold became a thing when we started to get what? When we started, especially on this second leg up through here. This is when gold started to become a really big thing in the markets. When was I watching gold? I was watching gold all through here, wasn't I? And I was waiting and patiently waiting. And the thing about these trades, guys, is you don't need too many of these trades, especially when you're utilizing options on these trades to do really well, right? If you start to do like a $10,000 investment into gold would have generated about a $35,000 profit, right? On that option there. So a $20,000 trade, $70,000 profit. How many of those trades, do you know what I'm trying to say? And then, and so on and so forth. So I'm trying to give you an example of that. There's these really amazing setups that do come around, but that does require patience. Why? Why? Because it does take time for these things to set up. But then also, a lot of the times we could be waiting for these setups here, and you want to get that next big trade, right? So big trades do take a lot of time to set up, but then they also take a lot of time to, they take a lot of time from there. So guys, if you really want to understand a lot more about this, make sure you grab access to that free trading course below, because this whole trend analysis and that time tool, this timing thing here about price and time, and my trading system, I teach you all that in that free trading course. So make sure you go grab access to that there, traders, and I'll speak to you real soon.